What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we're going to talk about the stimulus check. So we're going to talk about the stimulus checks, the stimulus package. And right now we're just waiting. We have a couple of days before we should find out exactly what Mitch McConnell has in store for another stimulus package and another stimulus check. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, on this channel, we talk about personal finance for travelers. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the little bell notification so you can get future updates on my videos. So I wanted to do a little something different with this video. And normally I will just give you guys all the latest news and all that stuff. But I want to kind of tell you a story. And I'm hoping that the politicians right now understand exactly what's going on. And sometimes you think with your wallet when really you should be realizing that it's much more than just money. And I guess the best way that I can explain this, and there's a saying that goes, cheap is expensive. And it's interesting because I see right now a lot of talk about money. I see politicians saying we don't want it to go over $1 trillion. There's some other politicians that are saying that in the HEROES Act, it was $3 trillion, and that's where they think it should be, around $3 trillion. But that's not really my major focus. My major focus is on the politicians that really want to do it the cheapest way possible and have the cheapest package possible. And the reason that I'm concerned about that, and the easiest way I can do this, I'll give you an example. This microphone. So this microphone is not cheap. It's about $399. Plus, you need to get some other stuff in order for this microphone to work. So it'll run you about $1,000 to have this microphone. And I know some of you are thinking $1,000, that's a lot of money, or even $399. That's a lot of money for a microphone. Well, this microphone has a history, a very good history. And it's been the standard when it comes to professional mics for broadcast TV as well as broadcast radio. And this is since 1970, or in the 1970s. This has been the go-to microphone. And so about a year ago, I knew this because I did some research and I found that this is the mic that most people use when it comes to getting that professional quality sound. But me thinking $399 really for a mic? I'm not going to spend that. I'm going to get one that's cheaper. And so I went ahead and I got a cheaper mic. I got a mic that was $200. And that mic lasted me for about 8 months, 6 to 8 months. Then I started having problems with it and the noise. It was just, there was something wrong with it. And so at that point, I had a decision to make. And in my situation, my decision was I need to get this mic because this is the one that's the standard. This is the one that I should have probably gotten in the first place. But I was trying to do it for cheaper. I didn't want to spend as much money. So that's why I got the $200 mic. And so when I say cheap is expensive, it's a situation where I went ahead, got a mic for $200. That mic broke on me. And I needed to spend $399 to get this one. So $600 later, I have the mic that I should have gotten in the first place. And so I'm seeing this right now when it comes to this stimulus package debate. Because right now we're looking at a situation where we have politicians saying we don't want to spend over $1 trillion and we want to go the cheap route is basically what's happening. We saw the CARES Act. So the CARES Act, that was your first stimulus check. That was in the CARES Act. We saw that was $2.3 trillion. Okay, that's a lot of money. And we're talking a lot of money. I understand that. But we saw what that package did to our economy. Did it help? It helped a little bit, I would say. In May, we were in a situation where people were just getting started to go back to work and most people had started receiving their stimulus checks. And things were okay. I'm not saying they were good, but they were better than they were in April. So that's what we saw with the CARES Act. But Late June, we started seeing a spike in the coronavirus, and we started seeing some issues. We started seeing states say, you know what, we're going to start closing down again. We started seeing businesses that have been suffering this whole time able to open in May, but then had to shut back down in June. We're starting to see airlines right now that are saying they're not going to have enough money come October, and they're going to have to go on furlough. They're going to have their employees go on furloughs. They're asking for more money. And so we start seeing all this stuff going on. And right now the talk is, we don't want to give you the same amount that you got with the CARES Act. We want to give you less in the hopes that that should be able to help us out of this situation. And so it's just interesting because, like I said, sometimes cheap is expensive. Because if the CARES Act had everything in it that we needed, and if we were getting monthly payments and all that stuff, and they put it all in one package, then guess what? We wouldn't need this next package. But they wanted to go to the cheap route, $1,200 for most Americans, and we'll give you this, and that. PPP, now you saw the PPP program received more money. They did some extensions on that as far as the time, and then they had separate bills that address the PPP. But if you did it right the first time, you wouldn't need to go back and go back and go back. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a stimulus package now that is trying to correct some of the things that the CARES Act didn't do. But the only problem is they want to give you less money in a similar situation. When I say similar situation, I mean states right now are starting to spike when it comes to COVID-19. People aren't working. They're still not working. But this whole thing, they want to give you less. They're even talking giving you less than $1,200 when it comes to a stimulus check. That's the talk right now. So before it was $1,200, now you have politicians talking about, well, we should be giving less than $1,200, or we should cap it at $40,000 or less. So less people are getting it. Trying to go the cheap route, when ultimately it's probably going to cost even more money, because if they do this and it doesn't work, then guess what we're going to be talking about in 2 months from now? 2 to 3 months from now, we're going to be talking about another stimulus package. And I know you're saying, no, Mitch McConnell said this is the last stimulus package that we're going to do. Well, think about what happens in 4 months from now. 4 months from now, we're looking at another election. Do you think 3 months from now, President Trump is going to say no to another stimulus check or another stimulus package? Do you think Joe Biden is going to be on the side of saying no to another stimulus package or a stimulus check? These politicians, they're not stupid. If you ask them, oh, and this question will come up, how do you feel about another round of stimulus checks for the American people? And this is before the election. They're going to say, yeah, that sounds good. Everyone in the House of Representatives, they're running for re-election. Do you think they're going to say no if that question's asked to them? What do you think about another round of stimulus checks? They're all going to say yes. Do you think the senators, the 23 Republicans that are running for re-election, do you think they're going to say no on record for another stimulus check? Do you think the 12 Democrats who are running in the Senate for re-election are going to say no to another round of stimulus checks? No, they're all going to say yes. Or they're not going to answer that question. They're going to try to keep from answering it. But none of them are going to say no. And so now we're looking at a situation where this is right before we go into this busy week of negotiating, and you have politicians talking about trying to take the cheapest route out. And that's going to be really dangerous because it is going to cost more money in the future. And it's just like this, Mike. Just like I said, if you did it the first time, the CARES Act, and it didn't work, obviously it didn't work to the extent where you have to do another one, and you do that other one cheaper, it would be just like this. This mic, $399. The mic that I got, $200. So I get that mic. That mic lasted me 6 to 8 months. And then now I'm trying to decide, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to go with this mic? Am I going to spend more to get this mic? Or am I going to go cheaper and get a mic that's $100? Well, right now, the politicians are saying we're going to get that mic that's $100 and hope that that lasts maybe 6 months. And then if it lasts 6 months, or maybe we get lucky and it lasts longer than 6 months, then we'll just keep that cheaper mic until that one breaks. And then maybe we'll realize, okay, yeah, we need to get a mic that's more expensive, one that has a track record. We have countries right now that have a very good track record when it comes to COVID-19. They're back online. They have businesses opening up again. They have people who didn't suffer the same way that we're suffering right now because they were getting monthly payments. You have some countries that they just shut their whole country down and they provided money to all the businesses so those businesses can pay their employees so they didn't have to lay anyone off. All they needed to do is just wait it out. Everybody stayed home. The virus slowed down. They were able to target these areas where the virus was still running rampant, and then they were able to isolate those people and then get back to a normal situation. And that worked. And so we see that it's possible, but we're trying to take the cheap route out. We're trying to take the hard route out. We don't want to shut everything down. We just want it to go away. That's not a strategy. And that's not going to work. It's just going to keep bouncing from state to state, from county to county, from city to city, because we're not getting it locked down, because we don't want to hurt the economy. But ultimately, we're hurting the economy because it's just a slow growth that's going to happen. So a lot of businesses are just going to go under. They're not going to be able to afford this slow growth. The airlines aren't going to be able to sustain this long, slow growth. If we don't get back to traveling, these airlines are just going to go under. And we're not even going to have that industry anymore because it's not profitable. And so, I mean, we are in a real bad situation. And I'm just looking at the politicians right now talking in the bickering in the White House right now as far as how much should people get, $1,200 or $1,000 or whatever when it comes to stimulus checks, and trying to take the cheapest route out. It's really a frustrating thing. And it's a sad thing because we're falling into a situation where, just like this mic, you go the cheap route and then you have to end up spending a lot more money to get something because you tried to go cheap first. And so you're spending that extra $200 instead of just going with $399 from the start and having something that's going to last, that has power to last a long time. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope it all made sense. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, please post it down below. I do have another channel, so I want you guys to go over there. It's doing really well. I'm going to put out another video in the next couple of days. It's called Everything David. It's just all about me. So it'll be behind the scenes stuff and everything. So please go over there, support that channel. We're trying to get it over 1,000 subscribers. Once we get over 1,000 subscribers, then I can do like mobile live streams, so I can go out and go on my little walks and stuff like that, and I can talk with you guys. So that's the plan there. So it's just everything else that's going on in my brain. Everything else other than the stimulus check stuff is what we're going to talk about over there. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.